Welcome back to the Grown Kid Talk Show. For those familiar with the channel, I have covered this Uncharted movie story sporadically for a while now, and I felt like it was time for an update. In the video, we're going to cover what the movie's about and my thoughts on it, casting choices, directors, writers, basically just catching you up on the story of the Uncharted movie. But before we get into today's video, I am a gamer and I always like to let you know what I'm playing. So I'm back on Greedfall. I put the game down for a while, but I recently got really back into it, and it really is a quality AA title, and I cannot wait to see the next game from the studio. Also, I have another video idea in the works, well, two. One of them is on Pragmata, the recently revealed newest Capcom game, and it looks like it's a true AAA title, next gen. Super excited. There are some rumors going around, so I'm going to address those as well as give my impressions on the game itself. The last topic I'm kind of debating about is doing a full read through of the Final Fantasy 15 novella, doing that style of video again, but better. I always like to give that update. I hope you enjoyed today's video. The Uncharted movie is still a dumpster fire.
Yo, it's the Grown Kid Talk Show. Yo, it's the Grown Kid Talk Show. Yo, Grown Kid Talk Show. Yo, it's the Grown Kid Talk Show.
First, we're going to give you a brief synopsis and what the current film's iteration is. The story is a prequel to the game starring Tom Holland as a younger Drake, showing us details of how he came to meet and befriend Sully. The story initially was not meant to be a prequel, and I will show you the facts to support that statement, but just keeping on this page for now, which was IMDb, the director is Ruben Fleischer, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. This is the most recent of several directors to have worked on this film. The writers are Matt Holloway and Art Makram. These two potentially could be the saving grace of this film, but I'm really skeptical on that. The movie stars Tom Holland, Mark Wahlberg, Antonio Banderas, and we will look at some other cast members as well, as I believe they've made one great casting choice, and it's actually none of the names mentioned there. Now, the main thing I want you to really take note of is that popularity over there at the bottom of the screen. It has gone down and has continued to go down consistently for a while now. Let's get on to some more of the cold hard facts about this dumpster fire of a movie. Like I've been saying, I always want to put names to faces on projects that I want to follow or like, and I think everybody should kind of do that so we can start giving accountability if something is bad and great positive news if something is really good. So this is Ruben Fleischer. I'm going to show you a couple of things that he's worked on that are noteworthy. A lot of the stuff is obscure and most of it is very, very niche. I've taken the time here to go through the works that I think are the most noted. So he's working on that Uncharted film. Again, this is the director, as well as Zombieland Double Tap, which is the sequel to Zombieland, a cult movie that I really loved. But it goes to mention that Zombieland Double Tap did not do that well in terms of critic reviews and scores. I also pointed out Spaced Out. Let me know if you've seen that. Comment down below. Ruben has also worked on many TV shows, but like I said, known for Zombieland, and Zombieland is his claim to fame. Really is what got him on the map to me, because that is really the only thing here worth mentioning. Now let's move on to our writers. I think writers don't get enough attention that they should in American cinema. In Japan, for example, they give tons of credit to those type of people, art directors and so forth, but here we really only care about directors and producers. I challenge that idea because I think the writer is what often makes the movie good or not, and Art Markham and Matt Holloway are basically the Hollywood it duo because they also worked on Iron Man, Punisher, Warzone. These are our writers. Let's get familiar with them. Art is the shorter gentleman and Matt is the taller one. Do I think that they could write a good script? Yes, I do, because I do believe that they were able to start a franchise, not only a franchise in Iron Man, but also spur a universe off of that one Iron Man movie. They did show that they were capable of starting something, and I think Uncharted needed that start desperately. I just don't think it's going to turn out well, so let's keep moving on. Before we get into the cast and crew fully, I'm just going to name them here. Tom Holland is playing young Nathan Drake. Mark Wahlberg is casted as Victor Sullivan. Antonio Banderas, I am predicting, will be the villain. Sophia Ali, Chloe Fraser, Tati, Gabrielle, Braddock, and Portia Medin as Spanish Woman. I just wanted to briefly mention this, get yourself acclimated with these names. Let's move on to the story of Uncharted. It's a very long story. I do have videos on this if you want to get more caught up on some more of the grittier details when they first hit, but this is going to be a somewhat overview with some very interesting information in it that I myself was surprised to find out. Pre-development basically started in 2008, 2010, they kind of had things rolling in a positive manner, at least had a direction, and the most important thing here, that the movie was supposed to be based on the first game. Moving a little bit more forward in time, Mark Wahlberg hasn't always been on this project, but in 2010 he did go and comment that I'm obviously into whatever David wants to do, but the idea of it is so off the charts. Robert De Niro being my father, Joe Pesci being my uncle. It's not going to be the watered down version, that's for sure. That was Mark Wahlberg, who initially was going to play Nathan Drake. Not sure if he turned down the role, not sure if he got rejected. Someone like Mark Wahlberg and their status in Hollywood, that information is going to be hard pressed to find the true story about why he's not cast in it, but the underlying statement that it's not going to be watered down. Well, that damn sure has changed, because now in 2020, we are at a watered down version of Nathan Drake and having Mark Wahlberg on the project as Sully, which is by no coincidence Tom Holland's butt buddy along with Chris Pratt. I've gone over that in another video, but they have and always will be best buds, and they want to work together, and somehow they got onto this project together. At this point, the script was already in a revision spot. It had to be rewritten. Now, rewrites are okay in the industry. In fact, I want them because that means we're going to get a better story, but you'll come to find out that it's been rewritten and rewritten and rewritten what seems like 100 times already. Moving forward in time, on August 23rd, Berger dropped out of the work to work on a different film. After Wahlberg, Chris Pratt was in talks to portray Nathan Drake, but he reportedly declined the offer. Again, Chris Pratt was also supposed to play Nathan Drake. I don't think Mark Wahlberg or Chris Pratt would have been great choices anyway. However, Chris Pratt has been one of the names you will consistently hear in the Uncharted story, even though I'm not fully covering it in this video. This is just a brief catch-up just to know how trash all of this is, and it's some interesting quotes that I wanted to find, especially this one by Nolan North. Nathan Drake's voice actor Nolan North stated that he believed that fans did not want a movie. Hold up there, Nolan North. I actually really like Nolan North, but I do understand Nolan North's frustrations as he is the voice actor, and this is not a knock to voice actors, but I'm sure Nolan North would love the chance to play Nathan Drake in a Sony Pictures big screen movie. He wasn't even really considered for the role, which probably made him a little jaded, and therefore decided to speak for fans that said they did not want a movie. Nolan North, you're 100% incorrect on this. I wanted a movie. Would I like you to play it? No. And Nolan North, this is why you're too old. I'm sorry, but that's what it is. You're too old. You can't move like Nathan Drake. And I know how much you love the character, so I kind of feel bad saying that, because I actually like Nolan North. But Nolan North, you're really dope, really cool. I'm actually really disappointed that I found out you said this and spoke for fans like this. I know you probably feel jaded, and it is what it is. You just can't play the role, and it's okay. But do not speak for us like this, because it's not a good look. One thing I forgot to mention in this over 10 years of production on the Uncharted movie, that Tom Holland was picked up. Tom Holland had worked with many a directors, read many a script variations, but the most recent that happened in December 2019, after Dan Trachtenberg left, the director Knight left the project due to scheduling conflicts with Holland. I made a video that Tom Holland is ruining Uncharted, and I still stand by that today. You can't work with someone who's just not workable. Whether he's too busy or not, it doesn't make for a good situation, and that's why Knight left the project. That's what leads us up to now with our current director. Now, is that necessarily Tom's fault? Well, yes, I do believe, because if he really wanted to work on Uncharted, I feel like he would have A, talked about it way more than he has, and B, made the time to do so. I don't want to hear that excuse. This is a very delicate and important project for Sony Productions, number one, and number two, gamer fans. Marvel, our comics, and DC, we got those movies. However you think about them, that's on you, but we have not gotten a real commitment to video games to movies, and this is not how you really want to start it off. Everybody's on the chopping block, and everybody can get blamed, especially Tom Holland, who's been on the project this whole time. He's been the consistent person. He's the one who kind of at least motivated Sony and the writers to make rewrites to make Nathan Drake younger because they realized that Tom Holland cannot play a grown-ass man. He's not Spider-Man, he's Spider-Boy. I still stick by that 100%. Now, obviously, he didn't go to the writer and say make him younger, but I do believe that that was a motivation because you need a big name like Tom Holland to fill the seats. I get that, but if the story doesn't work, then you have to recast him. They won't do that because they want that name Tom Holland, and that's cool, that's great, but they've ruined the story by doing so. What I'm mad about is that directors are leaving, scripts are getting rewritten over and over again, and it seems like people are having problems with working with Tom Holland. Now, whatever that problem is, whatever, it's still a problem. So before we get to the clip of Tom Holland talking, because we heard the Mark Wahlberg statement that it wasn't going to be watered down, well, it is. Again, I don't want to have to bring this up again, but I have videos on this topic that are way more in depth. I just wanted to give my current thoughts because it was time to talk about this again. This is a picture of Tom Holland and Nathan Drake. It is very clear that he cannot play this man. That is why they're going to make it a prequel, and admittedly, he does look very similar to young Drake, so I guess that is a positive, but that sounds like a watered down story, number one, and number two, I just don't want it because I'm tired of seeing little boys. I want to see men on screen doing manly shit. Antonio Banderas, who's he playing? I don't know. It's probably the villain because they don't have his name listed there. And I made this little joke villain profile of Antonio Banderas. He's old as dirt. He's a pretty good actor, I guess. He looks like a treasure hunter, kind of. He's well liked, that's for sure. Definitely needs some work. He's a manly man, which is kind of cool, but the problem is you have a young Drake who I'm assuming can fight. Uncharted, the games, there are some hand-to-hand combats. I don't think that Tom Holland necessarily gives off the energy, the big dick man energy, to fight a grown-ass man like a real Uncharted Drake would do, but a young kid Drake taking on an old man, well, that kind of puts this in a box already, right? Because we kind of know that Antonio Banderas isn't gonna be doing some dope hand-to-hand combat type shit. Probably Antonio Banderas and Mark Wahlberg are gonna have a connection Drake doesn't know about. Maybe is my best guess, but to me, is this a good villain choice in terms of the action he brings? No. Is it a good choice in terms of the dialogue and the emotion that Antonio Banderas could bring to the story? Yeah, I guess, but again, that's not a route I really want to see. However, I do love one casting choice very, very much. How dope this casting choice is for Chloe Frazer, Sophia Ali. She is finer than a motherfucker. She looks just like Chloe Frazer right now. That's the problem. Again, this is a young Nathan Drake. That looks exactly like Chloe Frazer right now. Present day, dope ass Chloe Frazer, who also got her own video game. How are you going to convince me that Tom Holland's supposed to pull Sophia Ali? Because remember, Chloe Frazer, a little freak, little badass, not going to play with little kid Tom Holland. I don't think that's how it was intended in the story either. I know the history behind them too does put them in the past to the first game. However, I didn't think it put them that far into the past because Tom Holland to me looks like he's going to play a 14-year-old boy in this movie. I don't think he's going to be an 18-year-old kid because if he's 18-year-old, he's basically a man, and for that, why not make Nathan Drake 25-year-old and make him a dope man? I don't like this origin prequel story nonsense idea because Tom Holland ain't pulling that. Before we wrap up this video, we're going to show the clip from Tom Holland and this last quote from Mark Wahlberg. This is the most recent news we've gotten from these two people about the movie. I start filming in about 2 weeks time. It's exciting because without giving too much away, it's more of an origin story. Meeting them and Nathan becoming Nathan. Sully and him meeting. Trying not only to get over on each other, but also starting to partner up and develop that relationship. It'll be very cool. It's the first time I'm in a movie that's a movie. I felt like when I was reading it, I was reading Indiana Jones or Thomas Crown Affair. It's got these great elements of these heist movies and adventure movies like I've never been a part of. To me, this is probably the most cliche thing I've ever heard, and I want you to put a hand up out there if you think Mark Wahlberg played Uncharted. However, do I think Mark Wahlberg is acclimated with the character by this point because of all the scripts he had to read, so he probably feels a little bit more in tune with the character? Sure, but this just definitely sounds like some PR bullshit, like it's a prequel. It's a prequel. Everybody get excited because it's a prequel. Let's get to Tom Holland and hear what he has to say. And before I start the video, yes, that's Chris Pratt right there. Again, like I told you, they're the three best butt buddy friends you'll ever see. If someone's in a movie, they want to work together. It's been stated over and over for the past couple of years, and I've made videos on their relationship and how I didn't want to see a buddy cop film Uncharted movie, because that's what it's going to feel like, honestly. It's going to seem like a buddy cop, and Uncharted is not buddy cop. Uncharted video game movie solution.
I tell you what, I read the newest draft of the script on the way over here, and it's one of the best scripts I've ever read. Like, it really, really jumps off the page. And
oh yeah?
What Uncharted offers that most video game films don't is that it's
what?
an origin story to the games. So if you played the games, you haven't seen what's going to happen in the film, and if you haven't played the games,
Okay.
you're going to enjoy the film because it's information that everyone else is getting at the same time. But I'm super excited to make that movie, and it's been a long time coming, and I think Mark Wahlberg's going to kill it as Sully, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah? All right, cool. Okay, look, he makes a good point. This is something we haven't seen. However, I don't like his reasoning for that because we're all going to enjoy it together, that it's going to be that much better because it's an origin story, as he's implying that because we played the games, we have a one-up on other viewers. You think Marvel and DC care about if you read the comics or not? No, they make a great movie. So I don't like his justification, number one. Number two, he just read the script on his way over here. Yeah, okay, you read it in the fucking car ride because they were going to ask you questions about it. Come on, Tom, really? And again, you keep hearing the prequel, it's a prequel, it's cool, it's good, I don't want to hear that, honestly. I don't. Mark Wahlberg's his friend, you heard him mention him, and Chris Pratt talk about it and crack jokes. I don't even want to hear from him, honestly. I could give two shits about him. I just think this movie is still in development hell. Now, for the last part of this video, if you look at the beginning of this video, they said the solution to the Uncharted movie, meaning that there are problems. Solution means there was problems that needed to be fixed. I just want you guys to know that before you hate my video for calling out these problems. There are already problems. It is very clear. So in closing, just expect this movie July 16th, 2021. The movie was supposed to come out multiple times already. I'm done even thinking and talking about it. The movie's probably not going to come out July 16th on 2021. In fact, it probably should get delayed again, and they probably should scrap it all in another rewrite. Why? Because Tom Holland's probably too busy. The story and script is probably not that good. Even though, do I think Matt Holloway and Art Mackham are okay? Yeah, I guess they're okay. I guess. I don't fucking know. Until something more concrete, until something happens with this, I'm just going to continue to say that this is a dumpster fire, continue to say that Tom Holland should get the fuck out of this movie, continue to say that no, Tom Holland, I don't want to see Mark Wahlberg or Chris Pratt anywhere near this project. I'm sorry, Antonio Banderas doesn't get my gears going to see this movie at all. A prequel is not something we wanted as fans. That's the only part of Nolan North's statement that I found correct. The fans don't want a prequel, that's for damn sure. That was my Uncharted movie synopsis. I followed the story. I'll link the playlist or make one for this video. I know I talked a lot. I know I ramble. And I fucking ranted. I'm the grown kid. I'll catch you back in another video.
Yo, it's the Grown Kid Talk Show.